They laughed the loudest on the coldest morning of the year, when the wind howled through the valley and frost painted every cabin roof white, as snow drifted sideways across the clearing. She stood alone beside a curved metal shell barely taller than a pickup truck, tightening bolts with numb fingers while grown men shook their heads and smiled in disbelief. They said it looked like a buried airplane, a mistake made of steel, a joke that winter would crush without mercy. What none of them knew was that this strange little Quonset mini-cabin was about to rewrite everything they believed about warmth, resilience, and quiet determination. Before the story continues, take a moment to like this video, comment, share it, and subscribe to the channel if you believe in the silent hero, in second chances, and in people who keep building even when the world laughs. Your support keeps stories like this alive. Her name was Hannah Whitmore, and she had not always lived in the mountains of northern Montana. Years earlier, she had a life that felt predictable, even safe. A small home in Idaho, a steady job in community planning, and dreams that leaned toward sustainability and simple living. Then came the chain of losses that never arrived one at a time. Her marriage ended quietly but painfully. Her job vanished during restructuring. Her savings drained faster than she ever thought possible. By the time she packed her car and drove north, she was not chasing adventure. She was chasing survival and a place where she could start over without being watched by people who remembered who she used to be. The land she bought was cheap for a reason. High elevation, brutal winters, and a short building season that scared most people away. A small group of off-grid builders and cabin owners lived nearby, bound together by shared hardship and mutual skepticism of outsiders. When Hannah arrived, she was polite, reserved, and clearly different. She listened more than she spoke. She asked questions that revealed careful thinking rather than confidence. Some respected that. Others mistook it for weakness. Hannah did not want a traditional log cabin. She had studied thermal efficiency for years, fascinated by structures that work with nature instead of fighting it. Her plan centered on a Quonset-style structure, a semi-cylindrical steel frame insulated deeply and partially earth-sheltered. Compact, aerodynamic, and efficient. To her, it made perfect sense. To her neighbors, it looked absurd. They watched as she poured a small foundation, assembled curved steel ribs, and bolted them together under a wide sky that promised snow any day now. Jokes traveled faster than tools. They said it would sweat and rust. They said wind would tear it apart. They said she would freeze before Christmas. Hannah heard the laughter but never responded. She had learned long ago that explaining yourself to people committed to misunderstanding was a waste of energy she could not afford. Money was tight. She worked part-time remotely and spent evenings installing insulation by headlamp, her breath visible in the air. She made mistakes, corrected them, and kept going. When storms delayed deliveries, she improvised. When the temperature dropped earlier than expected, she slept in her truck, wrapped in layers, waking before dawn to keep building. Doubt crept in during the quiet hours, whispering that maybe they were right. Maybe she had miscalculated. Maybe pride had disguised itself as innovation. The first major snowstorm arrived in mid-November, earlier and heavier than usual. Traditional cabins lit up with smoke from wood stoves running nonstop. Hannah sealed the final seams of her mini cabin the night before the storm hit. Inside, the space was small but intentional. Curved walls, thick insulation, minimal windows placed carefully to catch low winter sun. She installed a modest heating system designed to maintain warmth rather than fight cold. The storm raged for 3 days. When the clouds finally lifted, neighbors emerged stiff and tired, chopping ice from doors and hauling extra firewood. Someone noticed smoke rising steadily from Hannah's chimney, thin and consistent. Curiosity replaced laughter. One by one, people walked over, boots crunching on snow, faces tight with the cold. Inside, the air was warm. Not just tolerable, but comfortable. Thermometers told the truth before words ever could. While most cabins struggled to hold steady temperatures, Hannah's mini cabin measured nearly 30 degrees warmer, using less fuel. Heat wrapped the space evenly, no cold corners, no drafts. The curved design shed wind. The insulation held warmth like a secret. Silence filled the room. What followed was not instant praise, but something more powerful. Respect earned slowly, honestly. Neighbors asked questions. They examined details. They compared notes with their own hard-earned experience. Hannah answered without arrogance, sharing what worked and what still needed improvement. She did not frame it as victory. She framed it as learning. Winter deepened. Temperatures plunged. Roads closed. Cabins creaked under snow loads. Hannah's structure held firm. Fuel consumption dropped. Condensation problems never appeared. When one neighbor's heating system failed during a brutal night, Hannah opened her door without hesitation, sharing warmth and space without reminding anyone of past laughter. Word spread beyond the valley. Builders from nearby towns visited. Engineers asked for measurements. Photos of the mini cabins circulated online, sparking debates and curiosity. Hannah stayed focused on daily life, maintaining her routine, refining small details, and slowly healing from years of quiet loss. The mountains no longer felt like punishment. They felt like home. By late winter, the laughter was gone entirely. In its place were conversations filled with possibility. New builds were planned differently. Insulation strategies changed. People listened more carefully before dismissing ideas that looked unfamiliar. Hannah was no longer the outsider with the strange metal cabin. She was part of the community, not because she proved them wrong, but because she stayed kind when it would have been easier not to. Spring arrived late, as it always did. Snow melted reluctantly, revealing ground that had endured months of pressure. Hannah stood outside her cabin one morning, coffee steaming in the cold air, watching sunlight reflect off the curved metal roof that once drew mockery. She thought about the version of herself who arrived here afraid and uncertain, carrying more doubt than supplies. She realized that building the cabin had built her as well. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you that quiet persistence can change minds and lives, please like this video, share it with someone who needs encouragement, and subscribe to the channel. Your engagement helps bring more stories like this to people who need them most. Before the ending, we ask you to comment below about a time you were underestimated or laughed at for an idea you believed in. Your story might inspire someone else to keep going. Because sometimes the warmest place in the coldest storm is not built by following the crowd, but by trusting what you know, staying gentle under pressure, and letting results speak louder than laughter.